Welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. This is a podcast dedicated to having a successful accounting, bookkeeping, and tax business. It's in this podcast that we actually address issues related to marketing and sales, pricing, offering quality accounting services, becoming a profit and growth expert, offering advisory services, onboarding your clients, most importantly, building long-lasting relationships with clients and retaining them. So I invite you to actually listen to and subscribe to the podcast and get the most out of this to actually help you build the premier accounting firm in your area. I'm Roger Knecht, your host, president of Universal Accounting Center, and for more than 20 years, I've been working with accounting professionals to help them start and build accounting businesses with confidence. It's in this process that I've gotten to know many people that are actually now friends of mine and individuals that I've gotten to know over the years that have become successful as they've begun servicing the clients that they have confidently and getting paid what they're worth. So I invite you to listen into the episodes. Today we have Clay Neves. He's someone that I've known for years, and you're going to enjoy having him on the show because he happens to be a 12-year veteran of Universal Accounting Center and is currently the vice president of student enrollment. He has also worked with students throughout the United States and Canada primarily in helping them start and build their accounting businesses. As the vice president at Universal Accounting, he oversaw and has helped with the growth of Universal's seminar channel and division. He was with us in that division for 10 years, where he managed and helped basically grow our online presence as well as our seminar presence throughout the United States and Canada. He's also actually now managing the current growth of our enrollment call center. So it's there that you speak with his team of individuals that are basically coaches and business mentors that help individuals identify how best to pursue and move forward in their accounting careers with the help of Universal Accounting Center. Now, Clay has applied the principles from the book In the Black and Red to Black to manage his departments to meet or exceed the sales expectations and profit forecast for the year, and he continues to do it year after year, for which we are very grateful. And also with that, he has assisted in the development of our Universal Practice Builder program, which is a core component of the Profit and Growth Expert series, and with that, helps actually be a curator of online sales trainings. He has created one of the programs that I definitely want to bring up today, which is called the Personal Sales Dynamics. It's mastering the fine art of relationship selling. It's included in the Profit and Growth Expert program, so you want to definitely check that out. And as a former Chamber of Commerce president, he knows how to help small businesses grow marketing and selling their services with over 35 years of sales management experience. So Clay, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here, Roger. I hope you're healthy today.
Well, one of the things that I want to start with is I've known you personally now for many, many years, and professionally have had the opportunities to work with you, most of those. So I think this is long overdue. I'm kind of excited to have this because so many people are going to learn many things just in this one episode that I'm pleased to be doing with you today. So thanks again.
Oh, my pleasure, Roger.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I want to start with is you've obviously worked with a lot of clients, managing salespeople over the years, and you've obviously seen things that become, let's say, challenges or obstacles that have kind of hurt them in their success selling their services. How do you feel the accountant who's listening today would relate to some of these challenges that you've seen people experience as they've tried to sell and grow their businesses?
There's two things that I have found with the accountants that I've dealt with. Number one, I love them. They are the best people. They're honest. They're intelligent. They're salt of the earth. They really do value relationships a lot. And they're very good usually at what they do. They know their numbers and they know what to do for their clients. The biggest problem is, and I think maybe some of our listeners may confess this to themselves, is that they have a hard time articulating the ultimate benefit of what they provide their clients, the real value. And so they tend to undervalue themselves, and they don't know what to say when they talk to people about the value of what they do. Many of them don't have any problem talking about accounting principles, but when they're talking to clients about what they can do for them and the ultimate value they can provide, they have a hard time with that. Therefore, that leads to the biggest problem, not just of accountants, but any salesperson I've ever worked with or any business owner I've ever worked with who is having a hard time with sales. I go first to how many people they're actually talking to. And that's usually the first place we have to start. They're just not talking to enough people.
So real simple. It's in sales. Oftentimes, what we find is that the individual, the salesperson, the owner, in this case of an accounting firm, let's say, the first challenge that they have is they're just not talking to enough people. So we've got to get them speaking to more potential clients.
Yeah. Or get somebody talking to potential clients. One of the challenges as a business owner, if you're doing your own sales, you're torn between all of the duties that you have as a business owner, and usually we put off the ones that are the least familiar or the least confident for us. And in a lot of cases, for most business owners I've worked with, that's the sales aspect of their business. So they always find something else to do to fill the void so that they never quite have time to sell. And that's why one of the most important things to do is to schedule time. And as an owner, really understand, is that my strength anyway? And I don't have to do the sales as a business owner, but somebody has to. And so if there's nobody else to do it, it has to be done by the owner until the business can grow to the size where you can actually bring somebody in whose sole purpose and focus is nothing but selling. And until you can do that, your sales will really not take off the way they can. But yeah, people need to be contacted.
Yeah. So the first thing is regardless as to who is doing this, what we need to do is we need to focus on it needs to be done. We need to be contacting more potential business owners. The second thing is and it's what you mentioned first, is we've got to be more clear as to what it is we offer and how it is the client benefits. So when you're contacting these people, what's the next most challenging issue that they're facing? What are they dealing with as they're contacting these people?
Well, I kind of heard your listeners say, well, yeah, talk to people. I don't know what to say. Why would I want to talk to people? So my second point is we've got to be able to articulate the ultimate benefit and value they provide in ways that attract and engage prospective clients. Once they see that they have a message that can attract and engage clients consistently, they love to talk to people. And so I totally agree with them. And Roger, you know that in the seminars, we always ask that question. And that was one of the biggest obstacles for the people that we talked to, was they just didn't know what to say. They weren't confident in what to say.
Yeah, you're bringing back some fond memories of the seminars that we did around the country.
Yeah.
Lots of travel and a lot of interaction with accounting professionals. And you're right. When it came to explaining what their services were, they struggled to actually know what to say that would be of interest to the potential client. You know, what does the business owner want to hear? And I think you always said it best. The last thing we want to say is, first of all, that we're an accountant, bookkeeper, tax preparer. That's the first thing that we need to avoid, is just giving them that title that when we say it conjures up in the business owner's mind all these things that may not be true or may be misunderstandings of the profession. So at best, we need to just avoid those titles.
Exactly. You know, I remember a commercial, not related to accounting, but it was a guy at a party and people were asking him what he did. And he said, well, I sell cars, and everybody backed off. You know, I'm a car salesman, and everybody backs away like, don't want to talk to him. And then he said, but I sell Honda. And then everybody wanted to talk to him. Of course, it was a Honda commercial. But it was that label that he used that everybody else in the room had a emotion for that wasn't pleasant. And sometimes accountant business owners are thinking, oh, he'll know how terrible my accounting is, or that I should have it, or he'll make me feel guilty, or all of these images come up. So don't use the label. We want to talk about what we do in ways they haven't heard before and haven't built up a conditioned negative response to yet. So, for example, we talk about the fact that we work with small business owners who want to minimize their taxes, who want to maximize their profits, and who want to have cash in the bank when they need it to operate and grow their business. I haven't used the accountant word, but I have caught their attention.
Yeah, you've basically avoided giving them the opportunity to pigeonhole you or stereotype
Yeah,
you, but you've been able to now say what it is that you offer as a service that intrigues them to want to know more. What is it that you actually do for clients? I do like you described,
right,
and then all of a sudden they're saying, "Well, tell me more and maybe how you do it."
right.
And I think that's a good part to bring up, that there's an exercise that you can do as an accounting professional. I do this with all my business owner clients, is when you explain what it is you do for your business and what you do for your customers. An exercise that's very helpful is to put down on the left side of the paper all the tasks that you perform, all the features that you offer, and with each of those that you list on the right hand side, identify what's the benefit that the customer receives for that task or feature that you offer or perform. And if you can now, when you speak with the potential client, actually focus on only explaining the benefits that you provide your customers, they then, if interested in knowing how and why and what you do, will actually ask, and you can go into the task or feature you actually perform. But what we're doing now is we're focusing on what matters most to them. And so that exercise is very helpful, at least with this part of the discussion, because what we're trying to do is, now that we're talking to potential business owners, is we want to actually now share with them what we do in an intriguing way. We want to get their attention. Now, I know you actually have a saying, something that you use that I think is a concise way of kind of capturing all of this. It's like a mini explanation of what marketing and sales really is. What is that saying? Tell us that.
Well, I've got several. Are you talking about maybe it's all about relationships?
No, but that's a good one.
Okay.
No, that's a good one.
Give me a hint. I've got.
You want to say the right
Oh,
thing to the
okay.
right
That one.
people at the right
Absolutely. Okay.
time in the right way.
Right.
I mean, that's been ingrained in me over the
Okay.
years. I know
Right,
that
right,
thing
right.
thoroughly.
So, yeah.
So if you summarize it, I think it has all the elements of what marketing and sales is in it. So why don't you just go through the specific components of it?
That's the problem with having too many mantras, I guess.
It's also the problem of having worked with one another so long. I know what you're going to say. You've told me it too many times.
Okay. So, yeah, saying the right thing, and that's the message, okay, to the right people. That's the market you're going to. Then I got to understand them in the right way. That's the method, the media that you're going to be using to do that. Now, we talked a little
Don't
bit
forget right time. You got to
at the
put the
right
right time at the
time.
end there.
Well, you're
Yes.
going to talk to people, and some of them will be at the wrong time, but then that's just a matter of managing contact with them in follow up.
Well, I can just illustrate that. I mean, if you think about it, you're not going to see an advertisement for breakfast in the middle of the day. But the easiest thing to illustrate it from our perspective is, imagine you offer tax planning and preparation services. Well, the tax planning and preparation, you don't want to be offering that in the, say, months of February, March, April, because nobody's doing tax planning then. That's preparation. Tax planning is what you do in the third and
Correct.
fourth quarter. And so when
Right.
you're out marketing your services, you want to be talking to the potential business owner client of how this is the right time to be doing tax planning to ensure that you're actually taking advantage of all the tax benefits that are available to you before the year end. And so to bring that up with somebody in February, March, it's kind of like, well, why didn't you tell me this sooner? I didn't know I could have done this and actually deferred some of my tax
Correct.
liabilities. And so there's a time of year when certain messages resonate. And so we've got to be saying the right thing to the right people at the right time in the right way. Well, the right way is, are we advertising and marketing in the right places and so forth? So what I don't mean to dive into this too much further, but help us understand from your perspective how this mantra is so important to know.
Well, first of all, it's all about them. You've got to know the market to really understand the message. The message is a link between your value and their need. And your value, only has any value, if they have a problem that you can solve. No problem, no value. And so what you really want to do is understand what the problem is for those right people that you solve for them. So, for example, if part of your clientele are those small business owners, I would say there's probably 60%, 70% of small business owners, and by small I mean they probably have 5 or less employees. I would say that 60 to 70 of them, their accounting system is wholly inadequate if it even exists. They don't know where they are. They're flying by the seat of the pants. They worry about their business all the time just because they don't know where the gears and levers are that can control it. And we provide that for them. We help them understand their numbers so that they can master their business instead of being its slave. And that's the value that we provide. And so when we can get that in our head and speak not to our value, but like you said, the benefit really is what problem we solve. But when you talk to them about their problem and solve that for them, then we'll have that. So that's kind of what it gets to. And you need to be talking about them to discover what the problem is. If you're talking about yourself, you're hoping that you're saying something that sticks to the problem. But it's so much easier to talk to the problem if you let them talk so you can discover what the problem is. So part of it is when you're doing this, you first of all have to get an appointment. Don't try to sell your services when you first meet somebody, just enough to justify some of their time. Because if they won't give you some of their time, they're not going to give you some of their money.
Yeah.
And so you want the appointment first. And the appointment is best set to say, here's what I do for other clients. Is that the kind of thing that you're hoping for? If yes, you set an appointment, would it be worth 30 minutes of our time to just see what we could do for you? Then in the appointment, the first thing you do, of course, overall is establish rapport. It's all about relationships. And the best way to build rapport is get them talking about themselves. Now, you want to get into question sequence, okay? And I call it my discovery because I'm not just discovering what their problem is. If it's done right, the discovery portion of your meeting helps them discover what their problem really is. They may not know. And if they tell you what the problem is rather than you tell them what the problem is, they'll believe it and they'll own it. And so the discovery isn't just for you to understand them better. It's asking the type of questions that get them to know themselves and their business and their problem better. And then at the end of that, you're coming together with saying, okay, let me just see if I've got this straight. And if I understand your problem, it's this, and they agree, and you're both on the same page as far as what the problem is. And then you can ask, great. Now, are you open? Are you open to some alternative solutions to that? In other words, you ask I've never had anybody tell me no. They're always open. Then I can get into my presentation of the solution, and that's where the benefits come in that you talked about, Roger. That's where I want to really present all the benefits that answer the problems that we've agreed on. And you want to get then an agreement on the solutions and their commitment that that solves the problem. And then you go into the final phase, which I call negotiation and the financial agreement. But that's another thing. Make sure that you get the solution agreement before you ever talk about the financial agreement.
So let me see if I can summarize this because I like how you've done it. First of all, we're definitely stating at the beginning that we're finding that most people aren't talking to enough business owners, and so the number of people that are coming into the lead funnel are too few, and so we've got
Correct.
to do a little bit better job of networking, marketing, referral generation, and such. So we're talking to more business owners. The second thing is that we need to have a better understanding of what it is our clients benefit from of our services, so we can be more concise in the messaging to say
Correct.
why people do business with us, what they gain from our services. And if we
Can
can,
I interrupt for a really critical point here, Roger?
yes.
Where do you find out what problems you solve for your prospective clients from your current clients? And it's just a very simple interaction with your current clients. Call them to follow up on the last good thing you did for them, and just ask them that, tell them you're following up on that meeting we had or whatever it was that you felt you really did well for them. And I just wanted to see if that worked out for you, how it was working. That'll elicit probably a compliment. And at that point, you just have a couple of questions that you ask them. Number one, oh, I'm so glad that worked out for you. And then let them know how much you value them as a client. And then just ask them this. But I am curious, and I wondered if you could help me because I want to keep you as a client and I want to know for sure. I think I know, but I want to just check with you to make sure I'm reading it right. I know I wasn't the only accountant that you could pick. What was it about us that got you to go with our firm? And they will tell you your differentiating points, and they will tell you the problems they were having. Okay? And you can also ask them, even before that question, why are you spending money on an accountant at all? And that'll help that you understand what benefits they're getting that justify that expense. And then the last question is, and why do you stay with us? And that will get you some really good feedback as well. If you can use their language in your benefit statements and in your presentation of those benefits, it will resonate with similar clients. So focus on the 10 best clients you have and just take them through that quick kind of discussion after they've given you a compliment and told you that they're satisfied. Okay? Solicited or unsolicited. The next time that they tell you thank you, oh, this will make a world of difference. I really appreciate what you do for us. If they ever say that, don't waste that opportunity to get some good information from them.
I appreciate you doing that because in addition to the exercise that we shared earlier, where you on the left-hand side write your tasks and then you form your list of on the right-hand side, the correlating benefits, what I've done is it's been some time. I can honestly say it's been some time since I've done what Clay described. But when you call a customer, someone that you've done business with for more than a year, and you have some history and some rapport, and you can just ask them for some input, and you ask these questions, what happens is they oftentimes tell you things that you may not have even realized or perceived, that they see
Right,
value in the relationship and in the services you provide in a way that you may not understand because their perspective is different. And so
right,
all of a sudden they start to volunteer things that you can capture as benefits that you may not have been mentioning, but yet would resonate with other potential customers when you realize, okay, if I could have this customer for over a year and they like me for these reasons, well, I want to go find another business owner that would appreciate those same things. And so you start to incorporate those things in your messaging as to why businesses pay you for your services. And that's where you then start saying things that resonate with new clients because this is what it is
right.
that already exists for your current clients. So very, very well said. So now you've got this message, and with the message,
Yeah, one other big thing that will help you with your messaging is with every client, you should be building a case of achievements, what their success stories are. Quantified, clarified, specified. When they started with us, they were at $123,000 a month. And that was a year ago. Now they're at $785,000. Their profitability has gone from $10,000 a month to over $100,000 a month in that same period of time. You need to be building these cases of success so that you can use them in communicating your message, what I call our bold claim of results. There's nothing more powerful in presenting your benefit then when you can tie it to a specific success story that illustrates the power you give to your clients. And accountants, who else would know better than accountants the numbers that they have affected over the years in consulting with their clients to help make their business better?
Now, one thing that I would mention with this is instead of sharing the actual numbers of what clients have experienced, unless you're able to keep it pretty confidential as to who this is, one of the things you can do is you can speak in growth percentages. The percentages are what,
Yeah,
and the margins are what matters, how those were improved and changed. And so all of a sudden you're getting this testimonial of this is the
yeah,
impact your
yeah, yeah.
services have had when working with a client.
Now, one other really quick point, Roger, about testimonials is take notes when they're saying good things about you. Write it up as the perfect testimonial. Okay. Send them a thank you email with what you have written up that you wish they would have said, that is a summary of what they did say in your conversation. And just let them know, I'm asking if I can use this in my marketing. Please feel free to change it. This is what I thought you were saying. Please feel free to edit it to any extent that I'm not clear on things. But you can also just we can also just go with what I've written if you're okay with it. And that was something you would have said, and you're okay me using it in your marketing. 90% of the time, I never get a response other than what I have already written. Now you've got permission from them in writing, documented, where you can use those numbers in your marketing material.
You know, that same manner is actually done oftentimes when I'm interviewed for articles and so forth. The person that I'm being interviewed by will summarize what I say or attempt to quote
Right.
what I've said and send it back saying, I've got you saying this. And honestly, there's been a few wordsmithings that have been done, either grammatically or something that's been done where maybe there's a better word. And yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what I said or that's what I meant. And then you are then quoted as such in the article and so forth. So I understand exactly what you're saying there. Let me kind of still summarize what we've got here. So we've got, obviously, we need to be marketing more, talking more. We need to be more clear as to what it is we do, avoiding the titles of accountant, bookkeeper, tax preparer, emphasizing more the benefits, however, that we offer. And in this process, when we're meeting with them, the goal should be setting up an appointment to meet, setting up a time to hopefully either go to their office or your office, one of the two. There's benefits to either, and we can talk about those later. But in any case, you're trying to meet with them. And in that meeting, the first thing that you're trying to establish is rapport. And in that rapport, getting them to relax and really appreciate and see you as an expert. And then you move into the discovery phase. And it's in there that the questions matter the most. It's where you get to ask a lot of questions about their business, why they're in business and such. And it's from that that it becomes clear what their needs may be, what they're looking for, what they would expect. And it's from that you can then get into an explanation as to your services. This is where you're presenting your solution. And you made a very good point, and this is an extremely important point. Before now offering a cost, what it would then be for them to pay for that service, we want an agreement that what we're discussing is what they're looking for. We want to come to an agreement that what you're offering is what they need. And all of a sudden, once that consensus is there, then we can then start talking about what it would cost for them to receive that same service that
Yeah.
you've identified as being the solution to their situation. How am I doing
Right.
so far as a summary?
Excellent. So basically, that last step is okay. So now that we've got a program, a solution to work, let's make sure we can make it work for you financially. Fair enough? And then you give them the pricing, and there may be negotiation. Now, that's not in you dropping your price, that's in you limiting your scope of service.
Yeah, part of the negotiation level at that point where you're now going back and forth as to the fee.
Yeah. So if there was just a quick model that might crystallize this for the listeners, it's this. The key to selling, particularly in a consultative, as a coach, as an advisor, is you've got to establish where they are, you've got to establish where they want to be. You've got to, and the stress between those two positions is your opportunity. Why aren't they already there? That brings out the needs that they don't have. And you then put your solution as the bridge between where they are and where they want to be, and get them to agree that you're the bridge. And then how much is the bridge? So that's just a clean model. You can kind of see it in your head. But in that discovery, you've got to establish where they are and where they want to be with their business. Ask them how they're going to get there. They'll probably tell you, I have no clue, which means they need a bridge because they don't have one. You're the bridge. You sell the bridge. That's the deal.
So with that being said, let me offer two things here as kind of a promotion, if you will. One of the things that we want to do is, first of all, mention that Clay is making available something that you can have access to in the episode description. So I encourage you to go to the episode description to get this information. But in essence, what it is he has a golden sales nugget. It is a daily text message that comes out with some tips and tricks as to how you can sell your services more confidently and effectively. So in order to receive the daily sales nugget, it's simply texting the word BUILD, B-U-I-L-D, BUILD, to the number 57838. And you can get the information for this in the episode description so that you can actually start receiving these daily golden sales nuggets. So definitely encourage you to take advantage of going there and getting those things to help you so that you can each day kind of be reminded as to the things you can be doing to actually work on your business. The second thing that I'd want to point out is you can also go to the episode description to get a copy of the book In the Black. In the Black happens to be the 9 principles to make your business profitable. It's essentially your how-to guide to work on your business, to focus on the short-term, the mid-term, and the long-term needs that you need to really prioritize in your business in order to make your business profitable. So go now to the episode description, take advantage of these two offers to get a copy of the ebook In the Black, 9 Principles to Make Your Business Profitable, as well as the daily golden sales nugget. Now, with this, Clay, I do want to ask a quick kind of conclusion, a closing thought. What are some overarching principles that you really feel that they should remember as we wrap up this conversation right now?
Well, it's my other mantra, Roger, or two of them actually. One is, it's all about relationships. Accountants have with their clients a very trusting relationship. They entrust their accountant with information they may not want their wife to know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that relationship is the key. And also, it's not about you. Make it about them. And, if you remember those two things, that you're building a long-term relationship with these people and that you're making it about them, focusing on them and solving their problem. I tell people, don't look for clients, look for business problems that you're uniquely qualified to solve, and you'll get clients.
Yeah. Well, I think your point as to relationship selling is very important because when we realize, like you said a moment ago, it's very likely that as the accountant for a client, you may know things about that business and that person that no one else knows. The employees don't know it, the spouse doesn't know it, and so forth. So they become very much, you become for them a confidant, if you will. But the other thing I'd also emphasize is just the importance of the rapport at the very part of the meeting with the client. It's only once you've really gotten the rapport that they're comfortable enough to then proceed, because really what they're buying isn't just your expertise. It's not just your ability to provide financial reports. It's the comfort of knowing that they're in good hands, that you are someone that they can trust with the financial knowledge of their business, whether it be good or bad. It's that you can give them the insights and perspectives that they may not be seeing as a business owner. And so it really is a unique dynamic that as an accounting professional, you bring to the business model when you work with your clients that way. So Clay, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. The idea that you were able to come with that sales perspective and help everyone understand a few of the nuances of what they need to be aware of to be able to focus on marketing and selling their services more confidently is hugely important. I really do appreciate the work that you do as you contribute and help with the Profit and Growth Expert Program. It's a phenomenal program for individuals to be offering more advisory services that complement the quality accounting services that they provide. But the last thing I'd like to mention is having you available for our graduates as a coach to actually help them through these processes of figuring out their message, their services, helping them articulate better their marketing and sales strategies. I think this is so important. And so I appreciate the services you offer as a business coach to them. And then lastly, I just want to encourage everyone, in addition to listening to today's episode, definitely go out and listen to the other episodes. Subscribe to the podcast. You can reach out to Universal Accounting Center for more information on how you can apply these principles in your business by going to universalaccountingschool.com or just giving us a phone call at 801-265-3777. So just remember this, accounting success is universal. Take care and have a great day.